Hello, everyone, and welcome to another YouTube video here with Bia Boss Coaching. My name is Beatriz, or Bia. I am the founder of Bia Boss Coaching. I am a clarity and strategy coach. I'm a former social worker, Latina immigrant child from child of immigrant parents. I was born here in the US. I'm from South Central LA. And I said all of that because I'm trying to embrace or talk more about who I am. And I'm on this intentional journey to discover parts of myself that I feel like I didn't really get the chance to discover when I was younger. And within my entrepreneurship journey, I do get to do that. And that's something that I am humbly realizing. And I just want to share that with you. But anyway, that was a little bit off my script that I wanted to go over with you today. But if you don't know me, again, I'm Beatriz. I want to give you the opportunity to come learn more about me at beabosscoaching.com. I'll put it right here for you to go check it out. But I wanted to go over with you a video that hopefully you can save and use it as a tool for you to redirect your focus from a negativity bias to more positive thoughts. And I want to give you a series of questions where the purpose of them is to flex our muscle and our brain's ability to shift our focus from what it normally likes to focus or default to, which is negativity bias, to positive parts and areas and thoughts and mindsets that we all can access. And I say negativity bias. I have another video on how negativity bias impacts our lives and our decisions as entrepreneurs. So I will link that here right now. So you can go check that out in terms of how negativity bias impacts us. But this has been coming up for me as a theme lately because I've been more intentional about where my brain goes and what I pay attention to and how I prioritize myself. And I've been doing a lot of journaling these past couple days, been doing a lot of meditating these past couple days, especially because, and I'm not alone here, it's been something that I'm noticing in just different communities that I'm a part of and being in other spaces with other women and other entrepreneurs is that there's a sense of chaos happening in the world. And I'm thinking about it from this perspective of a social worker. Our areas of our lives, our macro and our meso and our micro areas of our lives, when they are all experiencing chaos at the same time, sometimes that is extremely overwhelming. And it can either stop us in our tracks and shut us down, or we can do the work, the self aware work, to regroup ourselves, reground ourselves back to who we are and what we're working for. So, I want to share these questions with you as a way to, again, shift away from negativity bias and to practice our ability for our brain to focus on the positivity in our lives as well. So, I hope you save this video. Come back and journal around these questions when you need to, whenever you're going through a state of anxiety or even maybe depression. Like I shared, in the past few weeks, I've been going through like a triggered state that has caused some isolation, or I've been isolating, but thankfully I've been balancing that with staying connected to my formal support system with my therapist and my coaches and my communities and even my partner, and sharing with my partner just everything that is going on in my head, and also understanding that I'm not the only one going through a hard time. I live in Southern California, so there's been wildfires breaking out, which are impacting thousands of families and individuals in an entire city, and the economics of that city are felt across, are interconnected. And on top of that, we have our loved ones in our families that we worry about as well. So with all of that, I just want to share some journal prompts that can help us shift our mindset into basically our resilience and our ability to flex that muscle intentionally and do that work intentionally. So save this video, like and share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like I said, I'm a clarity and strategy coach. I'm a social worker. A proud introvert from South Central LA. And so if you ever want to connect and you come across this video, you're like, I'm from South Central LA too, hit me up. I'd love to get in touch with you and connect. Okay. And you can see like I don't have that many followers. So like, it's not like I'm just here trying to build a community and sharing the tools that have helped me. And what I'm trying to do in this world is I am a complex individual and I want to connect with other individuals who are also doing this work and are also making decisions like starting businesses, for example, that give us information about like who we are. Like we have big dreams and passions, and we want to be able to continue in those dreams and reach out for support when we need to. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so here are some of the questions. It's 3 questions. So I wanted to do my nails while I like do this because I kind of want to like make it kind of both a self-care thing for me, but also like a helpful tool for you, which maybe I'll do. I'll try it out and see how it comes out. Probably have to do a bunch of editing after this, but let's try it. So it's kind of hard though for me. Like I realize I can't really do 2 things at the same time. I'm not good at multitasking, but as you know, or you might not know, and you're learning just now, that multitasking is actually not recommended. Your brain can't really, you can't maximize the things that you're doing if you're doing 2 things at the same time. So, but I wanted to create a sense of this is what I do for my own. It's like, I don't call it self-care. I guess it is self-care, but I wanted to reduce self-care to like doing your nails. It's not that simple, but it is a way, like it is a small way to look after yourself. At least for me, it's a small way that I give attention to myself, give myself some love, essentially. So anyway, here is the first question that I want you to use when you want to shift from negativity bias to positivity. So the first question is, what wins did you face this week? And the reason why I worded it this way, what wins did you face this week, is because we often see the question, what challenges did you face this week? And that question, well, like, I'm sure you've seen it, or probably like you have had a coach ask you that this week, or maybe you journal around that sometimes. I want to focus your attention to what wins you faced this week and intentionally change the word challenges to wins but using the same word face, so that we can intentionally see our wins as worthy of acknowledging as well, and as impactful as acknowledging the challenges as well. So what wins did you face this week? And I want your wins, they can be as small as taking a shower, and the smaller they are, the better they are, actually, because I want to normalize and celebrate even the smallest wins so that our brains can normalize and flex this muscle of normalizing when we are consciously or subconsciously taking care of ourselves, right? Like we still can show up for ourselves. We can still show up for ourselves. Even if they're small, they're still big deal. They're still a big deal. So I want our brains to like shift these like moments that feel mundane, like taking a shower or getting up in time to go to work, or even just getting up and doing our makeup. Like they may seem small to us as small ways to show up, but what if we were to see them as big ways that we showed up for ourselves? So what wins did you face this week? And they can be the smallest win. They can be, of course, they can be big wins as well, right? Like if you got a new client or a new contract for your business. That's a huge win. And of course, celebrate that as well. But in order to normalize like all the wonderful things that happen in our lives and just acknowledge that and like consciously bring on our awareness to the ways that we actually have wins all the time, even the small ones, that is still means of to celebrate. Those are still big reasons to celebrate. Just because they're small doesn't mean we don't need to celebrate them. We can still celebrate even the smallest ways that we show up for ourselves. So what wins did you face this week? And a win, I guess I kind of want to do this with you too. A win that I celebrated or that I want to acknowledge and celebrate for myself is I was able to do all of my medical appointments, or at least book my medical appointments that I've sort of been avoiding for a little bit. Anything medical, sometimes I tend to avoid because it's scary, right? Sometimes we don't want to face possible medical challenges, and that's a way to acknowledging the fact that I was able to at least schedule some of these medical appointments. That's a win for me. Another win that I faced this week, I guess, I have been meditating every single week. Not week, sorry, but every single day. And it has been so grounding, such a great tool. And I am committed to the goal of meditating at least once a day, even if it's 5 minutes, to continue to just sit with myself and in my body and be present and remember that in that moment I am safe. So those are 2 wins I want to share with you, and 2 wins that I am facing this week and I am so proud of. So think about your wins and share them in the comments if you'd like to share what your wins are for this week. What wins did you face? Okay, number 2, and I'm gonna move on to my next nail because like you can tell, like I kind of I just cannot do both at the same time. Like it's crazy. I'm trying to like focus on this nail and I can't obviously look at my paper or my post-it, but third nail. Anyway, the second question is, what was easy for you to overcome this week? And again, I want you to pay attention to the way I worded this question. What was easy for you to overcome this week? Because oftentimes we see that word overcome next to challenge, right? Or barrier, or problem. And those are all like barrier, problem, challenge. Those are all words that are focused on negativity, and like our brains light up when we hear those words and we respond much more. We highly respond to those. We're very sensitive to those words. So I want you to think of something you overcame that was easy, instead of thinking of like, I'm sure you've had that you did have barriers or challenges or problems that you faced this week, but what was easy? And again, this is to acknowledge the ease and give it our attention. Give the things that were easy our attention for once, because we give our attention to things that are difficult, things that are hard, things that are triggering us or giving us stress. Like we give that a lot of attention, but we don't realize that there's a lot of other things too that are very easy, and we dismiss them or let them go, or don't even think about them because they're so easy. They're just like, they just sort of have turned on this like automatic button in our brains, and we just automatically move through the world and don't realize that when those things are that automatic, they're so easy. And then we just like don't acknowledge the fact that maybe there was a lot of time that we took to make this habit easy for us. Maybe we have worked so hard to be disciplined, for example. Maybe you have made it so easy for you to get up every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to go to the gym at 6 a.m. Like maybe that's something you've done for 2 years or 3 years or 10 years, and you haven't even given it thought anymore because it's just so automatic that you have worked hard to build this habit, and we forgot that we worked hard to build this habit. So this is for you to acknowledge any work that you've done that you haven't thought of. Like, there's so much work that you've done. For me, one of the things that I want to specify around what was easy for me to overcome this week is showing up for my coaching group on a very early Saturday morning. I showed up, and that was very easy for me because like I show up for myself knowing that I need this. And that's something that I'm very proud of. I've done that work. I've done that intentional work to show up for myself in that way. And sometimes we forget that, right? Like just showing up for ourselves, giving ourselves 5 minutes to meditate. Like that's a new win. And that was, it feels easy for me to overcome it because it's like a habit that I'm building, and it feels easy to me right now. And I think it's because like I am very intentionally and consciously aware, giving this, acknowledging this, and tracking it. Like I'm even journaling about it every day, and checking in with myself every day, something that I didn't really do before. But because I felt so triggered like the past couple of weeks, I was like, oh my gosh, I really need some grounding habits and to work on these grounding habits because I know that they're available and I can access them. So now I just need to consciously access them and use them. And so those have been ways that I've been showing up for myself, and that has been an easy something easy for me to overcome. So what is something easy that you have overcome, and how can you be proud of yourself for that and acknowledge the work you've put in for that? Acknowledge that it hasn't always been easy for you to do that, but like you've made it happen, and maybe you forgot that that's something that you work towards, and now you're reminding yourself of that work. So that's number 2. All right, now we're gonna go to nail number 4. Nail number 4, question number 3. Okay, what business or life skill did you flex this week? And then there's like a 2-part, this is like more like a 2-part question. How do you feel about being able to access these life skills or business skills at any time? Again, this kind of connects back to what I said earlier about knowing that you can access your skills. Again, it comes back to the negativity bias, right? Like we focus on what we can't do, what is going wrong, what we're doing wrong, what we're not able to understand, what we're not able to figure out. Maybe there's a lot of that. Maybe you are experiencing some of that right now, but take a moment to just sit with what you can do well, what you've learned well, and how does it feel that you know that now you have these skills for life, right? I think that when we learn a new skill, no matter how much time passes, we can always access them. Even if it takes us a little bit of time to come back and get used to them, we can always still access them, like running. I've only run one marathon in my life, and it was an NYC marathon in 2018. And knowing that I did that I trained for a marathon, and that I did the marathon and finished the marathon, knowing that just reminds me of if I chose to do another marathon in the future, I could most likely do it again. Granted, if I continue to have my limbs and like my health and whatnot. But that is, whenever we remember our skills, like we have to remember that those skills are forever for the most part, right? Like if we learned how to drive, that is a skill that you'll have forever. And even if you step away from that skill for a long time, you know that you can pick up that skill, even if it takes you a few days or however long it takes you to settle back into that skill. Know that you can come back to that skill, and it'll be easy for you to get used to that again. And I say driving because that was something that that was an experience or skill that I did have to get used to again. I learned how to drive here in California when I was 16, and I had my license for years. And then I went and I drove here in LA, learned how to drive on the highway, on the freeway, and parallel park and merge and all that. And then I went to New York, and then I didn't drive for a very long time and took the train everywhere, and realized that coming back, there would be summers coming back that I would be scared of driving because I just wouldn't. It just had been maybe a year or 2 years since I hadn't driven a car, and I would have to get used to the feeling of being behind the wheel again. But eventually I got used to that feeling again, and now I'm back living in California, and I drive here all the time now, and it's normal again, and I don't even think about it anymore, right? If we were to think about driving, we realize that we get in our car and all the movements that we do, pushing the button or putting our key in the ignition and backing up and putting our feet on the pedals and knowing which pedals to press, whether we're accelerating or backing out, all of that is automatic, right? But we forget that the time that we took to learn that was difficult. It probably took months to learn how to drive, and then another few months to feel comfortable to be on the road, and then even more time to feel comfortable being on the highway and driving at a certain speed. All of that took probably months of work when you were much younger. But this driver that's been driving for years. So this is just a example of coming back to the skills that we have learned and acknowledging the time and the space and all of everything that we've invested into learning that skill, and knowing that those skills, even though we don't think about them anymore, we still use them. And so giving them time and acknowledgement intentionally can help us realize that we are very skilled, very powerful. We can figure things out, and even if it takes us some time, we are problem solvers. And then the part B of this question: how do you feel about being able to access this skill at any time? I want you to think about that. Like, for me, driving, being able to access that skill makes me feel free. Makes me feel I can go and get in the car and go and network with a friend, or go have lunch with a friend, or go meet my parents. And it gives me the ability to connect with people in person, or like go for a drive and be by myself for a bit. And that's how I feel. So I want you to think about the skills that you have flexed this week that were easy, and how does it make you feel to access these skills so easily, and that they are readily available to you. Shift away from what's going wrong, what we're not understanding, what we're not able to figure out, into actually, let's think about some of the things we've been able to figure out, and let's keep our brain there for a little bit. Yeah. So that is all for me. I only did one nail, as you can see, or only one hand. And that's okay. I'm going to finish the other hand after this video. But before I close, I want to invite you to come over to beabosscoaching.com, be part of my newsletter, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and apply to be part of my Be a Boss coaching program that you can find at beabosscoaching.com under the tab coaching. And you can apply to be part of that program and explore what coaching could potentially look like for you as you embark on your entrepreneurship journey, on your healing journey, and to do the work that you want to do, to step into the confident self that you want to be and that you already are. It's just a matter of tapping into her. All right, have a wonderful rest of your week, and sending you lots of warmth and hugs, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. I did it. I finished both. Yay!